Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know, a lot of you have probably thought about starting a business in the Netherlands.
Right.
And well, we've got some really interesting material to kind of help us unpack all that.
It can be pretty complex
Yeah.
to get started, right? But we're going to be focusing on how just reading and constantly learning new things can really help you out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's wild how much power there is in just picking up a book or reading a good article,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and that's actually what happened to our case study. This guy, Sam,
Okay.
a fictional entrepreneur who got his start just by picking up a book about starting a business
Huh. In the Netherlands.
right here in the Netherlands.
Wow. It really makes you think, like, what book could be that spark for you?
Right.
Yeah.
Could be as simple as a trip to the bookstore,
Yeah.
and you could be on your way.
Building your own empire. Exactly.
Win your own empire, yeah.
But aside from inspiration, what are some more practical benefits of reading for entrepreneurs?
Well, I think it's important to remember that every entrepreneur who came before you has already faced their own challenges and learned from them.
Right.
When you read, you get to tap into all that knowledge, all that experience.
You're learning from their mistakes, too.
Exactly. You learn from their successes and their mistakes, and
Yeah.
that basically lets you learn way faster than you could on your own.
Yeah, like fast-tracking it.
Exactly, like having a whole team of mentors.
Right, at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Just there in the pages.
I love that. Okay, so let's get into some of the details of starting a business in the Netherlands.
Okay.
Sam's story talks about a few important organizations.
Yeah.
Like the Kamervan Koophandel or the KVK,
Ah.
Rabobank,
Yes.
and of course the Belastingmobius.
Of course.
Can you give us like a quick overview of what each of these does
Yeah.
and why they're important?
Absolutely. So the KVK, that's the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
That's the first place you go when you're setting up a business in the Netherlands.
It's where you officially register your business, which is super important.
How to do it.
You have to do it. It's a legal requirement.
Right.
And they've got a ton of resources to help you out, too,
Oh, nice.
like workshops and networking events.
Okay.
One thing that's really helpful is that they can help you choose the right legal structure for your business.
Okay. So
Like if you want to be a sole proprietorship or a partnership
Uh-huh.
or a limited liability company,
Right.
they can help you decide.
Because each one has different, like, tax implications and stuff.
Exactly. And that stuff is important to figure out early on.
Yeah, for sure. So the KVK is kind of like your one-stop shop for getting started.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
All right. What about Rabobank?
Okay, so Rabobank.
I know they're a big bank here,
They are a big bank.
but what do they do specifically for entrepreneurs?
Well, they have a really strong history of working with small and medium businesses,
Okay.
especially in agriculture, which is obviously a big deal here.
Right.
But they work with all kinds of businesses.
Offering business accounts and loans,
Uh-huh.
and they even have mentorship programs.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're known for being really helpful for startups.
That's awesome.
Actually, when I was first getting started with
Well-
my own business,
Tell me about it.
I was so nervous about getting funding, but Rabobank was amazing.
Okay.
They really took the time to understand my business plan, and they even connected me with a mentor in my industry.
That's incredible. Like, they actually helped you find a mentor.
They did, and it was
Oh,
so
yeah.
valuable in those early stages.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've talked about the KVK and Rabobank.
Hmm.
Now let's talk about the one we all love to hate.
Oh, yeah.
The Belastingdienst,
The tax people.
the Dutch tax authority.
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody loves paying taxes,
Nobody likes paying taxes.
but it's obviously a key part of doing business.
It is.
So what are some things entrepreneurs need to know about the Dutch tax system?
Okay, so the Dutch tax system
Take a deep breath.
can seem really complicated at first.
But it's actually pretty efficient once you get the hang of it.
Okay.
The Belastingdienst collects all sorts of taxes.
Right.
Income tax, VAT.
Value-added tax.
Yep. And corporate tax, depending on your business structure.
Okay.
And the rates can be pretty high compared to some other countries. So
Yeah.
it's important to really understand that.
Right. So do your research and understand the tax implications before you jump in.
Exactly. And that's where those books and articles we were talking about can be really helpful.
Like Sam did.
Just like Sam did. He was able to avoid a lot of common mistakes.
By reading about other people's experiences.
Yeah, and that saved him a lot of time and money.
It's a good reminder that knowledge is power,
It really is.
especially when you're starting a business in a new country.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of new countries, Sam's story also highlights the importance of language.
Ah, yes, the Dutch language.
Right, because we're in the Netherlands,
We are.
which can be tricky for expats.
Yeah.
I mean, English is pretty widely spoken, especially in business.
It is.
But actually knowing Dutch can be a big advantage.
Especially if you're working with local businesses.
Did Sam run into this at all?
He did. At first, he mostly relied on English.
Okay.
But he quickly realized that he needed to improve his Dutch.
To really connect with the Dutch business community.
Exactly, and to really understand the culture.
So he decided to start learning Dutch.
Yeah, he was actually really proactive about it.
What did you do?
He took a language course, and he started watching Dutch movies and TV shows.
Okay.
And he even looked for chances to practice speaking with native Dutch speakers.
I bet that was tough.
It was. But he found this really cool way to immerse himself in the language and the culture.
Okay.
Taal cafes.
Oh, yeah, Taal cafes. I've heard of those.
Yeah, they're these informal get-togethers.
Where you can practice speaking Dutch.
Exactly, in a really relaxed environment.
Those are all over the Netherlands, right?
They are, and they're an amazing resource for anyone who wants to improve their Dutch.
Especially for people who are new to the country. So Sam started going to these Taal cafes.
He did, and it ended up being a huge turning point for him.
Really?
Not just for his language skills, but for his business, too.
Oh, wow. How so?
Well, one night he was at a Taal cafe in Rotterdam.
Okay.
And he started talking to a group of other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, cool.
They were all from different industries, but they were all facing similar challenges.
Right.
And they had a lot of great advice to share.
What kind of stuff did they talk about?
Everything, marketing strategies, finding funding,
Okay.
dealing with regulations, building a team.
It sounds like a crash course in starting a business.
It really was, and in such a relaxed setting.
So these Taal cafes weren't just about language. They were also a great way for Sam to network.
Exactly, and that's a really important point for any entrepreneur.
Networking?
Networking, it's all about building relationships, sharing what you know, and helping each other out.
Yeah, sometimes people forget about that.
They do. They get so caught up in the day-to-day stuff.
But they forget to connect with other people.
It's so important, though.
Yeah, actually, Sam's experience at the Taal Cafe led to something even bigger for him.
It did.
Really? What happened?
One of the entrepreneurs he met turned out to be a really successful business coach.
Oh, wow.
And this coach specialized in helping startups grow.
Oh.
They hit it off right away, and the coach ended up becoming a mentor for Sam.
That's talk about the right place at the right time.
It really is a perfect example of how networking can open doors you never even knew existed.
It's not just about making contacts, it's about making real connections.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key part of Sam's story.
What's that?
His dedication to continuous learning.
So he didn't stop learning once he launched his business.
Nope, not at all. He knew that the business world is always changing.
Especially in a place like the Netherlands.
Exactly. Things move fast here.
He had to keep learning to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly.
So what did that look like for him? More books, more courses.
All of that, he was always reading books and articles. Entrepreneurship, marketing technology, anything that could give him an edge.
Wow.
He also took some online courses.
Okay.
Really dive deeper into specific topics.
Like what?
Digital marketing and financial management.
It sounds like he was really investing in his own growth.
He was, and that's a key takeaway for anyone starting a business.
So what's that?
Treat learning like an investment, not an expense.
I love that. So it's not just about learning new things.
It's about constantly improving your skills.
And staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. But I know what you're thinking.
Right.
Running a business is a lot of work.
It is.
How did he find the time to learn?
Right.
He had to be really disciplined with his time.
Okay.
But he knew it was important for his success.
So what did that look like practically?
He would usually set aside an hour or two every morning.
Before starting work.
Yeah, to read or do an online course.
The good reminder that we all have the same 24 hours.
We do.
It's all about priorities.
Exactly.
And for entrepreneurs, learning should be a top priority.
Absolutely. But it can be hard to know where to start.
Right? There's so much information out there.
There is. So where should entrepreneurs focus their learning?
That's a great question.
It really depends on your business and industry.
Sure.
But there are some basic areas that are important for everyone, like marketing.
Okay.
Understanding how to reach your customers online is essential these days.
Right.
And there are tons of great resources for that.
Like what?
Online courses, blogs, podcasts.
What else?
Financial management, that's another big one. You need to understand things like budgeting, forecasting, cash flow.
That's a lot.
It is, but there are lots of books and courses that can help.
Okay, good.
And don't forget about soft skills.
Soft skills.
Yeah, things like communication, negotiation, leadership, teamwork.
Right.
Those are crucial for building a strong team.
It's easy to focus on the technical stuff.
But those soft skills make a huge difference.
In the long run.
Yeah, they help you build relationships with your team, your customers, everyone.
So true. Okay. Any other suggestions?
Well, there are some really cool online platforms out there.
For learning.
Yeah, specifically for entrepreneurs.
Right.
They cover everything from marketing and finance to leadership and personal development.
Like what kind of platforms?
Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare.
I've heard of those.
They have thousands of courses taught by experts.
Wow.
And a lot of them are really affordable or even free.
Okay.
There are also some more specialized platforms.
Okay, what are those?
Like The Future, that focuses on creative entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And Founder University, which has a whole curriculum for startup founders.
It's incredibly how easy it is to learn new things these days.
It really is. You have access to so much information.
So going back to Sam,
Yeah,
his commitment to continuous learning obviously helped his business,
it did.
but did it affect him in other ways?
Yeah. I mean, like constantly learning new things and adapting would keep things interesting for him.
Exactly. And the more he learned, the more confident he became.
Oh, that makes sense. And the business world, especially here, is so dynamic.
Yeah, you always got to be on your toes.
Always something new to discover.
That's what I love about doing these deep dives.
Me too.
Always learning something new.
Exactly.
And Sam's story really shows how we can put those insights into practice.
It does.
Especially for anyone who wants to start a business here.
His story shows that there's no magic formula for success,
Right.
but there are some key ingredients.
Okay, like what?
A willingness to learn, a thirst for knowledge, and a commitment to constantly growing.
And it all started with that one book.
That one book about starting a business in the Netherlands.
Crazy how something so simple can be so powerful.
I think that's an important message for everyone listening.
Yeah.
You don't need to have all the answers right away.
Right.
Just start exploring. Dive into a book. Take a workshop.
Talk to someone who's done it before.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up today, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Knowledge is everything for an entrepreneur. Invest in it, nurture it, never stop learning.
That's great advice. How can our listeners put that into practice this week?
I challenge everyone listening to find one resource.
One resource.
It could be a book, an article, a podcast, even a person you can connect with.
Right.
And learn something new about starting a business here in the Netherlands.
So just take that first step.
Exactly.
Who knows? Maybe you'll be the next Sam.
Maybe you will.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into entrepreneurship in the Netherlands.
It was great to be here.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those entrepreneurial dreams alive.